Play La Bamba, Oil Country, your Edmonton Oilers, and more specifically, Stuart Skinner with a massive bounce back tonight. The Oilers win 3-0 over the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 4 to go up 3-1, and the Oilers one more win, and they will book their ticket to the conference final for the second consecutive season, and this may have been the best all-around performance we have seen from this team in the entire playoffs. They've had games where they've played good. In fact, they've had games where they've played great, like Game 1 against the Golden Knights, but I thought this game in particular, they came out with authority. They came out on a mission. They came out and wanted to get under the skin of the Golden Knights, especially Adin Hill, and they rattled Adin Hill early in this one, and then once they got that lead, they shut it down in the third period, and whenever they did get those high-danger looks, Stuart Skinner was there to bail them out. Stuart Skinner continues to just play amazing. If the series gets to a Game 4 or later, I think going back to last season, he's now 11-1 in Games 4 through 7. So my proposal here, Oil fans, whenever Calvin Pickard's healthy, play him in games 1 to 3 of a playoff series. And if you obviously you're going to have to go further. You need at least 4 games in a playoff series, right? Game 4, you put Stu out there. There's a crazy stat in Game 4s for Stuart Skinner that I'm going to show a little bit later in this video. We got the victory chain on. Those of you who tuned into the live stream tonight, oh my goodness gracious, we had so many people tune in. We had so many likes. We had so many donations, the super chats, the super stickers. Just an unbelievable vibe during the live stream, and we gained a crap ton of subscribers too. We're over 5,700 subscribers now. That is absolutely wild to me. Probably had about 7,000 people in total at some point tune into the live stream tonight. If you ever want to tune in and you want to know when I go live, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that little bell so that you're notified every time I go live or upload a video, just like this post-game fan reaction that we're all tuning into. And yes, the vibes were down after Game 3. And yes, I'm going to look like I'm crazy because of how negative I was after Game 3. And then, of course, when Stu plays well, the team plays well. I loved the response tonight. There is a narrative in Oil Country that this team plays differently in front of Stuart Skinner. That this team specifically, for some reason, plays differently. They don't play as solid defensively in front of Stu. I think tonight shows that that is just not true. I think what happens here is Stu, when he gives some saves, there was a couple saves he made in that first period that were massive. Yes, he only faced 6 shots in the first, but a couple of those shots I thought were real high danger looks. There was one specifically, a cross seam pass, cross ice. I think it was Dorofeev that got the one-timer off on one of the 3 Vegas Golden Knights power plays. Love the officiating in that. Not going to complain about the officiating, of course. Obviously, things ended up kind of evening out like they always do because game management, folks. Wes McCauley, you love Wes McCauley. Anyways, Dorofeev had a one-timer, and it was at that moment that I knew Stuart Skinner was locked in because the biggest thing we talk about here in Oil Country, if you've tuned into my channel, if you are even anywhere near the Oilers verse on social media, one of the biggest things that Oilers fans talk about is Stuart Skinner's lateral movement or lack thereof. He really struggles with his east to west movement, post to post. If there's a cross crease pass, he is usually just stuck in mud and he can't get across. But that one-time save on Dorofeev in the first period, not only was he there in time, he was there before the puck even got to him. Like, he was absolutely dialed in. He is showing that he can do it. And this is where the frustration comes from Oil fans. We know Stuart Skinner can be good, right? There's that joke in that meme where Stuart Skinner is either one of the best goalies in the NHL or he's literally the worst goalie in the NHL, and there is no in between. There is no just like 9-10 save percentage Stu. He's either getting shutouts or putting up a 950 or he's down in the 800 range for some reason. I don't know what it is about this guy. We've seen that potential. His rookie season, he was near the top. I think he was top 10 in goals saved above expected in the entire NHL in terms of the goaltending advanced stats. Now, he did collapse in the playoffs in his rookie year. Last year, it seemed like as the series went along, early in series, he was very bad, but as series progressed, he got much, much better. And games 4 through 7 of a series, when the games matter most, obviously the team in front, they are locking it down, but Stuart Skinner, he is also playing his best hockey when the games are most important. And it's never too late. Before the stream tonight, and also in my pregame report, which I did say the Austin Hockey Guarantee, the Oilers would win, and I called it. I knew they would. The Austin Hockey Guarantee, I don't pull it out often. I knew that this team was going to win. I just had a feeling. But I put Stuart Skinner front and center here in front of the Ryan Smith bobblehead. Stuart Skinner, we believe in him, right? Oil fans, we believe in him. Edmonton media that says that fans don't want Stu to succeed and they want him off this team. It can't be farther from the truth. Every single fan wants Stuart Skinner to succeed in this market, because if Skinner succeeds, the team wins hockey games. Why would we not want him to succeed? There's nobody here that is cheering for Stuart Skinner to play poorly, because that means the team is playing poorly and not winning championships. If this is the Stu that we can get just a little bit more consistently, right? This is the thing. It's just about consistency. Can Stuart Skinner provide this level of play? I'm not even asking for shutouts every night, obviously. That's unsustainable. I'm just asking for some consistency in the big saves and then also making the saves that you're supposed to make. He was dialed in tonight, couple breakaways. He had that 5-hole shut. I did, criticize Stu for his 5-hole goal that he gave up in game 3, but tonight he had that 5-hole locked down. In fact, every angle tonight Stuart Skinner had locked down. He wasn't flailing in his crease. I didn't see him fall backwards for no reason. I didn't see him flying out of his net like Dominik Hasek at any point. Stuart Skinner was calm, and the team in front of him, they played calm too. Massive, massive win for Edmonton. We're going to go over the NHL Edge Visualizer for the Oilers' goals. The depth has come through once again for Edmonton. 2 goals from Adam Henrique, a goal from Evander Kane. The Oilers, they're not relying on their top guns right now, and that is massive, because when the top players start going here, you know McDavid is due for one of those nuclear games. You know Leon Draisaitl is due for one of those nuclear games. But on the off chance that maybe Draisaitl's not 100%, on the off chance that maybe McDavid's not 100%, the fact that this team has reliable depth showing up at the most important time of the year, obviously we are confident, we are happy, we're excited. This is a team that could go a long way if they can sustain their numbers. And tonight, just showed once again that they have the players that are capable. Adam Henrique, his best game I think I've seen him play in an Oiler uniform all season long, maybe ever, actually. Since last season when they picked him up at the trade deadline, he had 2 goals tonight. He was all over the forecheck. Connor Brown set up that first goal for the Oilers. We're going to take a look at the Edge Visualizer for Adam Henrique's first goal here, and then his second goal. And then, of course, we'll talk about Evander Kane's goal to make it 3-0. We'll go over some of the other box score stats. We'll take a look at the advanced stats on Money Puck. Of course, that's not the only place you can find advanced stats. I highly recommend multiple sources. Money Puck is not the be-all, end-all. I do encourage everyone to look at other sources as well, but I do like looking at advanced stats. I love numbers. It's fun. Adam Henrique made it 1-0 just a minute 27 into this game off the face-off. The Vegas Golden Knights win it, but Connor Brown does such a good job. He pressures Whitecloud, steals it, centers it. Henrique's all alone, and Henrique, well, he ain't going to miss from there. He has scored 30 goals numerous times in his career for a reason. Adam Henrique is a goal scorer. He is a player that is responsible in his two-way game, and he deserved that one. We're going to watch it one more time because it was just such a thing of beauty, and this really set the tone for the Edmonton Oilers. I love that Chris Knoblauch made a couple changes to his lines, and I love that the team responded, right? There's a lot of times where a coach may make changes, and the team doesn't respond as positively. You had a guy like Arvidsson taken out of the lineup tonight. I personally would have preferred someone else coming out of the lineup. On Twitter, I even said I would have preferred Henrique coming out. But at the end of the day, Arvidsson comes out. Kapanen goes in. Then you have a shuffle from lines 1 through 4, and everybody stepped up tonight. They showed their coach that they are a good team. They showed their coach that they're bought into the system. It was a massive, massive turning point in this series and this game, in my opinion. What Chris Knoblauch is able to do, I know you all want to see the other Edge Visualizer goals, but I'm ranting now. I know I'm hard on Chris Knoblauch. I get hard on him when he shuffles his lines mid-game. I get hard on him with some of his line combinations, but we cannot ever ignore how incredible he is at finding tactical advantages as a series progresses. I know we talk about Stu Skinner getting better as a series progresses. The Oilers as a team get much better as a series goes on as well, the later into a series. but Chris Knobloch has to get a lot of credit for that as well. He made some tactical adjustments that allowed Edmonton to not allow Vegas really any good looks. They couldn't get any looks off the rush either. The Oilers were much more responsible in the neutral zone. Everybody on Edmonton was committed to that back check, and you love to see it. In the first period still, I love how they even specify between the leg shot. The Oilers were on the forecheck here. Puck behind the net. Comes to Kane, then Hyman. Hyman centers it. Kane onto the net, and then Henrique scores. And then Evander Kane, he's hit into Adin Hill. Adin Hill was mad. That was about the third time an Oiler made contact with him, and he had enough. You can see on the edge visualizer all the players and Adin Hill trying to swarm Evander Kane. He's trying to get out of that dog pile, obviously, but Evander Kane was hit into Adin Hill after the goal by Brayden McNabb. They called a penalty on Evander Kane for some reason, but not on Brayden McNabb. Not sure what the officiating was going on there. And then Evander Kane for Edmonton basically put this game away because Vegas had nothing going. Off of the line change for Vegas, Evan Bouchard plays it to McDavid, and then Shea Theodore, he's coming in to check McDavid, and McDavid does such a good job holding onto this puck, and he finds Evander Kane streaking up the left side. Good job by Zach Hyman on the right wing, not going offside here. Kane brings it into the zone, and he shoots, and that goes 5-hole. A goal that Adin Hill likely wants back. Probably the only bad goal that Adin Hill gave up. For as good as Stuart Skinner was, I would say Adin Hill probably played his best game of the series as well, but his team was unable to produce any offense for him, and Adin Hill could be rattled. It's a mental thing now. The Oilers came out that whole first period. The Edmonton Oilers were all over Adin Hill. They were really, like, every single whistle, somebody was doing something, saying something, and the Vegas Golden Knights, obviously, you're going to protect your goaltender. Even if there's no actual contact, you're going to come in there and be like, hey, don't talk to my goalie. What is wrong with you? That's hockey. Vegas, they were taken out of the game early because of how Edmonton decided to approach this one. Of course, Trent Frederick also fought Nicholas Hague. What a fight that was, by the way. Two heavyweights just throwing bombs the whole time. An unbelievable fight. I'm glad that both players were okay. No major injury going on there, and that was absolutely phenomenal to see. In terms of the advanced metrics now, we're going to go to Money Puck. I'm going to refresh it just to make sure that we have everything sorted here. If you take a look at the deserve to win-o-meter tonight, in all situations, looks like the Oilers win the simulation over 70% of the time, roughly. Is it going to be over 70? Where is it? Where's it going to land? 70.2%. Love to see that. And the Oilers, look at how many chances they had kind of in this high-danger inner slot area. They had a lot of looks. They had a lot of shot attempts from a lot of different areas on the ice. And the Golden Knights, they had, here's that one-timer. This is what I'm talking about. The bigger the circle is, the higher danger look it was, or the more likely that that shot specifically had a chance to go into the Oilers' net. This is the shot that I'm talking about by Dorofeev. It was a one-timer, and Stuart Skinner, he got across. This had a 50% chance of going into the net, and Stuart Skinner made the save. That's what we're looking for, right? Maybe a shot that he's not supposed to make the save on, but he comes up clutch in the moment, and he makes the big save. If we take a scroll down, expected goals in all situations tonight, 2.8 to 2.23 in favor of Edmonton. But if we break that down at 5-on-5, Vegas had nothing going at 5-on-5. Their looks came with the net empty and, of course, on their power plays in the first period. But Edmonton, they basically had full control of this game when it came to 5-on-5. Expected goals in all situations tonight. If we look at the percentages, Darnell Nurse, right? I was hard on him after game 3. Said he probably had his worst game of the playoffs. But again, Chris Knobloch puts Troy Stecher in there. Look at the defensive pairings tonight for Edmonton. Nurse and Stecher have history. They have history where these two work. These are two players that historically play very well together. What a great job by Chris Knobloch to insert Stecher into this lineup over Ty Emberson. And it's not only that he puts Stecher in the lineup, right? You can put Stecher in the lineup, but if you're only playing him 7 or 8 minutes like you are with Ty Emberson, you're not going to get results. But he played Stecher a pretty decent amount tonight. We'll take a look at the ice time, but Nurse and Stecher over almost 80% expected goals for percentage tonight as a pair. The only two Oilers below 50% in expected goals in 5-on-5, were John Klingberg and Corey Perry. And I also thought Evan Bouchard had his best defensive game of the entire playoffs for Edmonton. I thought his play in the second and third period specifically, He was so good on players like Jack Eichel, preventing cycles from continuing, hitting sticks in the lane, clearing the zone, making the right plays. This was the best defensive game I have seen from Evan Bouchard, in my personal opinion. If we take a look at the extra stats here, I did want to see what the giveaways were. 14-10 Vegas, and then takeaways 7-1. So Vegas only had one takeaway. I knew Edmonton's takeaways was going to be a little bit higher. We'll go back to the advanced metrics here. If you take a look at Adin Hill, only negative 0.2 goals saved above expected. He was basically right on the money. He gave his team a chance. Unfortunately, the team in front of him wasn't able to penetrate through the Oilers' structure tonight. The Oilers basically played a perfect structured game, and you can't ask for much more. If they play like they did tonight in Vegas for Game 5, I like Edmonton's chances of closing this thing out in Vegas on Wednesday. And if you take a look at the time on ice, Bouchard, 25-14. I do like that they kind of started to lower his minutes after the first period. During the stream, I looked at Bouchard's minutes. He was sitting at like 950 or something after the first period. And I'm like, they can't play him almost 10 minutes per period. That's unsustainable. They did lower it, luckily. Thank you. But look at Troy Stecher, 1646, right? This is a player that you can depend on. And sometimes he looks shaky, but if you can't play Ty Emberson for more than 10 minutes a night, get Troy Stecher in there and take the load off of the rest of your defensive core. Take a look at John Klingberg. Maybe a playoff low for him, only 1236, but that means the Oilers were able to roll defense pairs, roll different looks, and they were managing the puck well all night. Love to see it. Stuart Skinner, 2.226 goals saved above expected, or 2.23 goals saved above expected. Sorry. You love to see that. He made 23 saves tonight. Unbelievable game from Stuart Skinner. Could not be happier with the overall effort from this team. They came out on a mission. Chris Knobloch, he had his tactics ready to go. At morning skate, there was no line rushes, so nobody actually knew what the lines were going to be heading into this game, and I think that messed Bruce Cassidy up. Bruce Cassidy, he's someone now, as an also Bruins fan, they're my second favorite team. I know a lot of you are probably going to hate me for that. When Bruce Cassidy was with Boston, he is so, he plans ahead so far, right? And if you give him your lineup or what your lines could look like, he will plan all game day and make sure his team is ready to go against you. Chris Knobloch tonight, McDavid and Draisaitl split on their own lines. Draisaitl had the defensive responsibility against the Eichel line. McDavid had the responsibility against the William Karlsson line, and that allows your depth to step up against Vegas's bottom six. You love to see that if you're Chris Knobloch. You love to see that if you're the Edmonton Oilers. They all committed tonight, and I could not be happier. We are going to take a look at some fan questions and comments that were submitted on X or Twitter.com. If you ever want to send me any questions or comments after games, at ahockey1993, there will also be a link in the description for you. Let's take a look at what the fans have to say. There's a few that I bookmarked, and then there's a few that I'm also going to read on the fly. I'm not going to get to literally every question because we're already 18 minutes into this video, and that's long enough in my opinion. So I quote tweeted myself yesterday. I put out a tweet saying, I have no doubt in my mind the Oilers as a team are going to respond tomorrow night. Austin Hockey guarantee. Oil win will go back to Vegas up 3-1. Book it with the flexed arm. I need to start working out again so I can actually like flex and be like, boom, 5 big boom. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing the big booms. So tonight I said, called it, LFG, one more win. Let's go. Questions or comments for the fan reaction. Thomas says, how about Stu? You absolutely love to see that. Maltzy says, how about Skinner? Delete your last post. Absolutely not. I will not go back on that, but I am a big fan of Stu tonight. Zach says, we have all been hard on Stu, and for good reason, myself more than most. Today, Stu stepped up and got a shutout. He restored my confidence in him, and I think we are on Stu redemption arc. How long does this reign last? I don't care how long it lasts, but I hope it lasts as long as it can, right? As long as it can. Tyler sends me a Stuart Skinner with the laser eyes. You absolutely love it. Let's get a full screen look at that. You love to see that. Incredible. Small says, I told you all the Oilers were not good enough on either side of the ice for a little while. I think they needed the loss to reset them. That's a good point. Sometimes you're on a 6-game win streak. Sometimes bad habits start to take form. I think the loss really did kind of reset the team, and they're like, yo, we need to be much better. So that's a good point to make. They did tighten it up. If they play like this, either goalie can play good enough to win a series. I cannot disagree with that at all. Corey says that game was an all-timer, man. So happy for the team and the fans. And Also, can we give a shout out to Oilers fans, by the way? Rogers Place, right before before puck drop, after puck drop, they were insane tonight. Absolutely, it's cinema. Absolute cinema, right? The whole Martin Scorsese meme. Oilers fans, seriously, you are the absolute best. I couldn't have imagined how loud it was in that building tonight. Incredible. Trent says, no, crash out no more. What a win and bounce back from Stu. Let's close it out in Vegas. Absolutely agreed with that. There was a couple more that I had bookmarked. We'll just scroll down. Stuart Skinner stats in game fours. Look at this from Sportsnet stats. Stuart Skinner in game fours, 5-0, a 1.32 goals against average, 953 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. What is it with Stuart Skinner in game fours? Of course, last year in game 4 against the LA Kings, 1-0 shutout win allowed the Oilers to go back home up 3-1. They closed that series out in 5. Let's see what the team can do. Let's see what Stuart Skinner can do moving forward here. Now, what happens if Calvin Pickard's ready to go? I'm thinking really far ahead here. But if Edmonton moves on, let's say Stu gets another win on Wednesday, who do you go to, right? Do you go back to Calvin Pickard, or do you stick with the hot hand? Do you stick with the goalie that last won for you? And after every loss, you just switch him out? I say ride the goalie that is winning, but I want to hear what you have to say. That is the question of the day. Let me know who you go with, depending how this series goes. Whenever Calvin Pickard's ready to return, we don't know. Sounds like he'll be out for about a week or so, maybe longer. We'll give him time to rest up. But when Calvin Pickard returns, who do you go with? I want to hear from you, Oil Country. I read every single comment. Well, I await them anxiously in the comment section tonight. I can't wait to see all the positive vibes as well. We deserve it. You deserve it. Tell someone that you love them before you head to bed tonight. Or if you're watching this the next day, tell someone that you love them at some point today. I did miss the Mother's Day yesterday, so happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now without the support of my own mother. And, throughout my life, I've been very lucky, to have the love and support that I do. Obviously, not everyone is as lucky, but if you have a mother in your life, make sure that you know how much that they are loved at all times, and give them a big hug, all right? I feel bad that I missed out on Mother's Day, but I wanted to make sure I got that message out tonight. Fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers. We'll see you soon, folks. See you tomorrow for the day after, and then on Wednesday, pregame report, then the live stream for Game 5. Can't wait. See you soon. Take care.